Pictures of 5 of the men that were taken in the Meredith Zane massacre, which happened the 19th of May, 1858. This was a tragedy that was led by 3 men from Georgia, the Hamilton brothers, who had come to Kansas to make Kansas a slave state. They rode into trading post here from Missouri with other pro-slavery men, a band of about 30 men. They stopped at the mill here, took 2 men captive, crossed the river, took another man from the store, John Campbell, and up here they took Reverend B.L. Reed and another man, and rode through the countryside here, adding more to their number. They stopped up here close to the Missouri border, lined them up in a ravine, which is now known as the Meredith Zane Massacre Park, and shot them point blank. They lined them up there and shot them. 5 of the men were killed outright, and 5 were wounded but did recover. And this man, Austin Hall, was one of the ones who was lucky enough to be missed. He made up his mind that when the shots were fired he was going to fall, and he was lucky enough to be missed, but the fellow standing next to him was hit and fell on top of him, bleeding on him, and he just laid still, and they thought he was dead too. His brother here, Amos Hall, was wounded but did recover. This man, Charles Snyder, and his wife had come out from Illinois to visit friends of theirs, Patrick Robertson. Both he and Patrick Robertson were taken. Patrick was one of the unfortunate ones that was killed, and Charles Snyder was wounded but did recover. These 2 men, William Haregrove and his son Asa, had lived as neighbors to the men that led this massacre down in Georgia, and they took them and shot them anyway. Mr. William Haregrove was one of the ones who lived through it, and his son Asa also. And he is the one who brought to justice the only man that was prosecuted for his crime, William Haregrove. He spotted William Haregrove up in Kansas City in 1863, and he was brought down to Mound City, our county seat. He was tried by a jury and hung the 30th of October, 1863. His poor wife was so destitute after he was hung, she had to give her 4 little girls away. One of the girls married a young man that she had been given to when she grew up, and their descendants came to visit our museum this summer and told me that story. 4 of the men that were killed that day were buried on the north side of this hill on the west side of 69 Highway, just north of the museum. And then when this monument was erected over here in the cemetery in 1888, their remains were reinterred here in the cemetery. And Mr. Hall, who lived until December of 1900, is buried over there with his family members as well. The 5th man that was killed, William Stillwell, is buried in the Mound City Cemetery.